From News Channel 5 and ESPN 106.3, it's Friday Football Fever.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Friday Football Fever Overtime alongside ESPN West Palm's Wells Dusenberry. I'm Emerson Lotzi, and if you're looking to get caught up on all the high school football action around the area, this is the show for you. Dews, you ready to rock and roll?
I'm always ready to rock and roll, brother.
Love your enthusiasm tonight, dude. Also, follow us on Twitter at Stereo1063, and we'll keep you up to speed on high school news and scores throughout the week. Use it now, thank us later. Now, we begin with what is not only one of the top high school football games in the area this weekend, but one of the top games in the entire country. Don Bosco Prep out of New Jersey making the 18-hour trip down to Fort Pierce Central. So what's the big deal besides the massive commute? Well, according to multiple national rankings, including USA Today, the Ironmen ranked #1 in America. Kind of a big deal, people. Also kind of a huge challenge for the Cobras. Now, not an ideal start for Central. Jake Celadonio, he's dropping back to pass. He's intercepted by Kevin Brennan, who returns at 18 yards, and the Ironmen cooking early on. And then you got Wesley McCoy turning that into points, finding Kyle Kleinberg for the 4-yard touchdown. Don Bosco Prep up 7-0. But next possession for the Cobras, it's Celadonio finding Jawan Boswell. But he's going to have some issues holding onto the football. And Wells, as you know, you got to have ball security when you're playing the best team in the land, right?
And this killed them early on here. 2 early first quarter turnovers. And when you're playing a team like this is a team fresh off a 24-7 win over St. Thomas Aquinas, maybe the eventual 7A state champion here in Florida.
And then Malik Baker in the end zone from 6 yards out, 14-0. But Central fighting at Celadonio, finding Kerwin's Filzane in the end zone. Cobras cut Bosco's lead to 7. Unfortunately, they need a little more than that. Central falling 41-14. So, Dews, the final score ends up being a little lopsided, but still, Central hung in there in the early parts, right?
This was a game a lot of people were saying, oh, blowout city early on. This is especially after Fort Pierce Central coming off a tough 14-point loss a week ago. But you have to like the tenacity that they showed tonight against Don Bosco Prep, who we mentioned. This is a national perennial football team here. But the big thing in this game, and you mentioned it, was the turnovers for Fort Pierce Central. When you're playing a team of this caliber, you cannot turn over the rock as many times here. You had to play almost this perfect type of game here. And you can tell here, this was a tough one for Jake Celadonio, the starting quarterback for Fort Pierce Central. This is his first year as a starting quarterback. He was a backup at John Carroll last year. He's replacing Sam Vaughn, who was, you know, the lauded starting quarterback at Fort Pierce Central. So this is really the first big game he had been in. And listen, this is a tough big game for anyone in their first spotlight game playing against Don Bosco Prep. So it was tough for him, but the key thing now for Fort Pierce Central, you don't have any time to lick your wounds. You don't have any time to feel sorry for yourself, because next week is Vero Beach, and that is the big rivalry game for this football team, and that is a big district game right now, too. This one will decide playoff spots, and you look last year, Fort Pierce Central won that game. They ended up getting a home playoff berth. Vero Beach had to go in the road, and they lost week 1. So this is the big factor. You've got to win this game there if you want to have that shot at making a big postseason run. So this is big. They've got to regroup right now because Vero Beach, they're 4-0, and they're looking good.
From the #1 team in the land, Don Bosco, to the #1 team in the WPTV and ESPN West Palm top 10 poll, that's Boynton Beach. That's their star quarterback, Lamar Jackson, getting a sweet ride in. Part of homecoming night, taking on Stranahan, Jackson and company, bringing the fireworks, Dews. He can do it with his arm. He can do it with his legs.
Dude has so much swag, more than anyone in this area. You see him in the car, he's just like, hey, what's up, y'all? I'm about to put up 40 minutes.
What up, y'all? Now, next drive for the Tigers, and Chauncey Mason. What up, y'all? He's part of that kind of 3-headed monster they have in the backfield.
Yeah, this has been the big factor for this Boynton Beach football team is that ground attack, and then, of course, they can also throw it in the air, too.
And Dante Silencia's one of the many weapons that he has at wide receiver. Jackson does, and Boynton remains unbeaten, 54-27. Now with Dwyer, Royal Palm Beach, West Boca, and Atlantic all ranked in the ESPN West Palm and WPTV Top 10 poll, I think it's pretty safe to say that District 13-7A is pretty tough. And we haven't even mentioned up-and-coming programs, Lake Worth and Palm Beach Lakes, which both enter Friday night with winning records. So no margin for error in that district, folks. Willie Bueno and his third-ranked Royal Palm Beach squad looking to improve to 4-0, and they would have no trouble doing so. Third quarter, Wildcats already up big. Toddy Santillo, is this his top target, Devon Brown?
He's really emerging as it right now, and that's the big thing they need is opening up that passing game. He's a heck of a weapon for him out there.
So the big gain sets him up at the 20-yard line. That works so well, Deuce, they go right back to it.
Hey, hey, if it works well, do it again. Why not?
And Royal Palm cruising past Lake Worth 49-6, setting up a huge district showdown with Dwyer next week. Wells will have more on that in just a moment. Speaking of Dwyer, the Panthers doing their thing against Olympic Heights tonight, and you kind of knew this one was going to get ugly early on. Wells, opening drive of the contest, second play from scrimmage, Daniel Parr to Isaiah Johnson. And Isaiah Johnson, I tell you what, I've been in a number of their games this year. He's a nice weapon to have, a wide receiver.
He had a big touchdown early on, a big grab in that Palm Beach Gardens game. And, dude, if I could somersault in the end zone, I'd do it absolutely, man. Make it rain flags. Why not?
And it did on that play. And then Cornelius Smith on the next drive, 1-yard touchdown run. Daniel Parr did the same thing on the third drive. They were just scoring at will tonight. Panthers blank Olympic Heights 53-0. We stay inside this ridiculously difficult district. Atlantic's cheerleaders fired up. Eagles going up against Palm Beach Lakes. First Atlantic drive of the game. Edwin Hernandez off play action to Markinson Ripper. Juggling catch. He's going to do the rest. 67-yard touchdown. This extra point makes it 6-0 Eagles. Now with their lead at 9, Hernandez with another perfect play fake. This time 50 yards to Sam St. Surin. Well, what do you know about this Hernandez kid?
He's a lefty, we can tell from right now, but man, he can air the ball deep. I was at practice the other day. He was looking pretty impressive there, and you can see he's a gamer.
And later in the second, the Rams start chipping away at their deficit. That's Isaiah Sneed. He throws it deep to Devontae Jackson. Atlantic led 16-7. Then special teams coming up big. I think a name that everyone around this area will know very soon if they don't by now. Shelton Johnson, dudes.
Oh, I can tell you the coaches from Florida State and Alabama know all about this kid here. He is a big-time player here. Watch out for him.
Atlantic is your winner 30-7. So a great night of district games. What are your takeaways from tonight, Mr. Dusenberry?
I think you look here, it's a big three-team race. You look at the teams right now. Royal Palm Beach, I was really impressed with what they did against a solid Lake Worth team. This is a team you looked early on from this program. You know, they had been much improved, 3-1 entering this game, but you see what they were able to do, and I like the balance that they had on here. You saw what they could do on the ground. 3 rushing touchdowns, Shamar Jackson, 2 from Charles Perry, but I thought it was their air assault here that really impressed me here, and Toddy Santillo specifically at the quarterback position. You know, that had been, I don't want to say a weakness early on, but it had been something that there's definitely room for improvement on. And from what I saw, he was tossing some great balls. You look at Devon Brown, he's been a lockdown cornerback for them early on, being a big, deep play threat for them out wide. He made some big-time catches, and you talk about this district next week against Dwyer. We know they can run the ball on the ground. They can pound it out and ground it out. But if you want to beat those teams, you also got to make some plays through the air.
Now, Royal Palm Beach head coach Willie Bueno joined our friends at ESPN 106.3 tonight on high school hysteria. Here's what he had to say about his Wildcats being in that tight district race.
In this district that we're in, it's every week you better come to play or that's going to happen to you. And West Boca is a good football team. We lost focus, I believe, in that game last year, and we stayed home. So, you know, we talk about that every day to keep that intensity level and match the level of who we're playing.
The man speaks the truth. I tell you what, I am stoked for next week's game, Royal Palm and Dwyer, man. That is going to be huge.
This is a humongous matchup. You know, we talk about this district, a lot of coaches referring to it as the SEC of districts here. And it's pretty amazing. You know, you love that name, of course. You know, you talk about Dwyer and Royal Palm Beach, but don't forget about Atlantic. This is a team now that we saw has been really, really improving here. They had outscored their past 3 opponents 111-7. You look at this Palm Beach Lakes game, this game was one they had marked on the calendar all offseason. Don't let anyone else tell you differently. They got embarrassed. It was 53-35 that game. They got 53 hung on them, and they came out here and they showed who the dominant team was in this game. And this is a Palm Beach Lakes defense that had been pretty strong early on, 2 early shutouts. We mentioned it a little bit. Edwin Hernandez, fantastic quarterback. That's been one of the big things for this Atlantic team. And you see the playmakers, the athleticism on this team. It looks like almost one of those Atlantic teams of old in the playmakers, and that's the thing. So I think this team is absolutely going to be in the mix when you look at it. And they've got as tough as a road as you've got. They will have Dwyer, Royal Palm Beach, and West Boca. It's 3 straight weeks to end the regular season. So it does not get any easier for this team.
Oh, it does not. Let's head up to 8A, shall we, at Palm Beach Gardens. A really cool moment before this game tonight, guys. Danny Woods, a special needs student, he was crowned homecoming king. So congrats to DW, and the Gators were playing hard for him. Tanell Perry, 10-yard touchdown run, 17-0 Gators. Ensuing drive for BOCA. We're in the closing minutes of the second quarter, and Jalen Wright sacking Philip Santiago. So Gardens forces a punt, gets one more shot at the end zone before halftime, and these guys seem to be really getting on the same page as the season wears on, dudes. Hunter Aranda to wide open Jaquan Napier. Gators win one for Danny Woods, 31-0 is your final. Let's head to Riviera Beach. Suncoast welcoming in Glade Central. Quick start for the Raiders. The handoff to Keith Clemones, shoots out of the backfield like a rocket, and there's nobody's going to be catching him, dudes.
This is the playmaking that Glade Central kind of has missed the past couple of weeks here in that shutout loss to Ely a week ago, and then in that tough 2018 American Heritage. Those playmakers like that, you look pretty good there.
How about Suncoast quarterback Matt Dame? I've heard a lot about him, and he's only a junior, right?
You'll be hearing a lot more about him next week. He's on the radar, just like we talked about Shelton Johnson. All the college programs big on him. University of Florida really likes him as well, so he'll be one of the top guys next year.
But we've seen it already, as you've already mentioned this season. The Raiders looking very, very sharp. That's Jakevius Vickers on the touchdown. Raiders win 41-6. And in Loxahatchee, it's all Palm Beach Central tonight. Larry Dunnan taking the fly sweep, breaks a couple tackles, 80 yards to the house. And Palm Beach Central, after that slow start to the air, dudes, they've got 2 wins in a row now. 28-14 was the final tonight. You see Central maybe turning this thing around?
Yeah, kind of similar script to last year. They started 1-3, really started to rally afterward here. But I think, it's kind of a similar script. I think Savion Harris is a lot more comfortable at quarterback. That's the key.
And a couple scores before we go. In District 7-3A, big wins for American Heritage and Pahokee.
Yeah, these two teams, they are meeting up next week. This is going to be a monster showdown right here. Pahokee won this game last year. They were able to knock American Heritage out of the playoffs. So you've got American Heritage. They are ready for revenge. And these two teams, two top 10 teams, it's going to be a fun week next weekend, man.
So the high school football season at the midway point. Kind of sad, right?
A little bit here, but we're getting revved up a little bit more. This is when the big-time players come to play.
Awesome, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. That'll do it for Friday Football Fever Overtime. A friendly reminder, all the scores from tonight's game on ESPNWestPalm.com. Right now, we leave you now with some of the top plays from this week in high school football.